Hello, everyone. Hello. Thanks very much for joining us today for Beyond the Algorithm, Keeping Humanity at the Center of Media Investment. It might sound quite dystopian, if like, futuristic, but trust me, it's very, very interesting, and it's about advertising. So my name's Rich. I am the co-founder of the Subthread. For those that don't know what the Subthread is, it is a new media and events business for brands and agencies interested in what's next. If you don't know what that is, come find me. I'll be happy to talk about it. I'm joined here by an amazing panel. I'm saying they're amazing. I only met them last week, but they all seem like a great bunch, and hopefully we'll have some drinks, courtesy of Happydemics a bit later. But let me start. So AI is transforming every aspect of media investment, from planning and targeting through to optimization and measurement. Today, we're going to explore how brands can embrace AI without losing sight of the people they're trying to reach. I'm not going to try to introduce the panel. I'm going to let them do that. So I'm going to start at the end with Kieran. Kieran, if you can introduce yourself, what you do, your company as well, but also as a little added extra, can you tell me like your personal relationship with AI as well?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name's Kieran. I look after Yahoo's owned and operated properties in the UK and also our native solution. Yahoo's a publisher and also an ad tech provider, so we're kind of quite an interesting spot in the market at the moment. I guess in terms of my kind of personal use of AI, it's just the everyday, really. I think this morning, my little boy at home is obsessed with Paddington Bear, and my wife texts me that
So is my kid. Paddington Bear for the win, right?
Yeah. Paddington Bear's now moving from Netflix to another channel, and she had a panic, and she said, "Can you find out where it's going to next?" So, you know, my son doesn't have a meltdown, so it's now moving to Paramount, if anyone knows. But that was just just an everyday hack, really. So just trying to make things a lot more useful, really.
Virginie?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, Rich. Lovely to be here. I'm Virginie. I'm CMO at Happydemics. Happydemics is a brand growth measurement platform. So we help brands, media agencies, media owners understand what advertising changes in people's minds across channels, and we do it both during the campaign and after it ends to help brand and media professionals know where and how to invest their media budgets. On my relationship with AI, I'd say it's pretty much as many marketers today. It's fascination mixed with healthy wariness. Obviously, it saves me enormous amount of time. It also forces me to double down on two things, which are creativity and critical thinking, just to make sure that what we do with the team always reflects our brand's unique perspective, and also challenge AI outputs and be able to separate the generic from the insightful.
Oh, that's brilliant. And Paddington Bear isn't part of that scenario at all, though. I hope he makes a comeback. Nick?
Hi, everybody. I am Nick Tong, Managing Partner Media and Data at Media Plus in the UK. We are one of the leading independent media agencies in the UK, working across a number of different clients and sectors and categories. I guess my kind of personal use of AI, I use it a lot in work, so a lot of researching and helping with just exploring new ways of being able to interpret data, sort of helping with my operating model at work and that kind of thing. From a personal basis, use it very much probably like everyone else. Personal assistant, pharmacies has been one for this week, obviously, so that's been quite useful.
The use case, yes.
Yeah, so.
Thanks, Nick. Erika?
Hello, my name is Erika McKinnon, and I head of global go-to-market for marketing effectiveness at NIQ, which is Nielsen IQ. We're an intelligence company where we measure all the things that you buy. So every time you go in the store and you buy a product, we know what you're purchasing, and we know when you're purchasing it. As far as AI, it is definitely, I use it every single day. Not only for work, right, to build out sales enablement materials and strategy, but more importantly, on a personal level, I have two kids. They're both active, and I can't keep up with their schedule. So right before I came here, I actually had ChatGPT actually create my own Erika.2.0, which is an agent. So it's Mommy 2.0 to put together their schedule and our vacation schedule. So there you go.
now I feel like I need to say something really good. I usually try to humor my 2-year-old daughter by making my partners look like a Sesame Street character on ChatGPT.
Very good.
And obviously work efficiency as well. And actually onto efficiency. AI has undoubtedly made marketers more efficient, but has it actually changed or improved the decision-making process? And I think that's part of what we're discussing here. But maybe like one question to ask is whether or not AI is, has it, sort of genuinely improved things? And I suppose this question's a bit directed towards Kieran. I mean, from a platform perspective, where are you seeing sort of AI change outcomes at this moment?
Yeah, I think from a Yahoo perspective, like I mentioned, we're an ad tech provider and a publisher. So we're sitting on lots and lots of first-party data. So, for example, if we're going to run a brand campaign, we can look through our email receipts in Yahoo Mail to see if you're a coffee company, how many people are buying coffees from your brand already, and we can look to optimize that across the campaign briefing process. And then I think in the kind of day-to-day optimization, as I'm sure lots of people have, we've got various AI agents that are optimizing things in real time. So I think it's almost for us to be giving our kind of clients more confidence in our products, to be honest with you. And I think like AI is really like validating that. And a lot of our stuff that we're kind of opening up to give clients access to, so they can see that it's actually happening and it's not just us telling us that it's going on. So I think that transparency side of things, I think is a really big thing, and I think that really helps from both sides.
It's kind of a good segue to Nick, actually. I mean, from a planning perspective, do you see AI making better decisions, or is it just making things faster?
It's definitely making it faster.
Yeah, okay.
Not necessarily smarter, but certainly faster. And I think our teams are starting to kind of ramp it up. We've started probably a little bit later than some others because we wanted to get a good understanding of the marketplace. We don't want to go in too deep too quickly and get tied up with platforms, as we know how fast everything's changing. We're seeing everything leapfrogging like day by day, and so just want to make sure that we are sort of keeping a flexible view on it. So we're looking at platforms, we're investing in platforms that give us a cross view, if you see what I mean.
So faster but not always smarter. But I guess then for the whole panel themselves, where do you see this sort of human judgment really being still so essential? I mean, this is open to any of you really to make.
Yeah, it's absolutely essential. And to your point, like, yes, it's helping us to be more efficient and scale and move faster. But I also do think it's helping us to kind of be smarter, right? But one thing I always encourage people to think about is don't forget about the human element, right? Human judgment is so important. So we are surrounded by so much data, but you need to be able to validate that data. You need to be able to validate the recommendations. And that's one thing I love about AI, is always spitting out enormous amount of data. But again, we're the humans, right? We're feeding it. So we also need to make sure we're validating it.
So actually, sticking with you, Rika, we've got more data now than sort of ever before. The question really is, are marketers sort of becoming too reliant on this and too reliant on what's easy to measure? You guys just launched Cadence, didn't you? So maybe you're kind of best to sort of answer this one.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure all the marketers out here really understand the pain point of, I have too much data. I have too many tools. Which tool do I use? Which data do I extract? Oh, and I have a budget, right? Also that I have to manage, and I have to get all of this information out and make decisions fairly quickly. And so that's where Cadence came about. And this is one of the reasons why we built Cadence, because we heard marketers' pain points, their challenges, right? They need data faster. They need smarter data, right? They need the more robust data, not just insights, but what are those recommendations? What is it going to tell me? And they also need to be able to scale, and they need to be able to move at the speed of the market. So it's really important. And the one thing that, we've been talking about all week, of course, AI, it is an agentic AI marketing effectiveness operating system. It's just not another tool. That's what we keep saying. It's not another marketing tool. It's an operating system end to end. And I think that's what marketers need, just a one-stop shop where it's not going to take them months, right, to collect all their data and synthesize it and harmonize it. Now we're talking about what used to take 2-3 months actually only take a couple of hours. What used to take maybe 2 weeks for, a data scientist to actually go through and, harmonize the data and really look at the data and analyze it, now is only going to take them a couple of maybe minutes. And then from a researcher perspective, how many people have to work with researchers and they're like, oh, it's going to take me another week to get your insights in a PowerPoint deck. I don't have another week to wait for insights in a PowerPoint deck. Yeah. And now Cadence is actually able to spit those insights out in a couple of like seconds.
Okay,
So,
well, if anyone wants to find out more about Cadence,
oh,
you know,
yeah, that's a plug, right? That was a plug.
yeah. No, that's cool. No, it sounds super interesting. But I suppose from a brand perspective, like how should brands be with all this data and everything like that? Be sort of thinking about that attention, the emotion, the consumer response. And I think for yourself, Virginie, where you guys are doing at Happydemics, this is something that you guys can really shine a bit more of a light on.
Yeah, so first, I think we should stop treating that signals like emotion, emotional connection as competing metrics, because they're all like complementary lenses that together provide a full picture of the story. It's all about campaign intent, really. Like, what's your objective? What's the role that you want your channels to play for you? If this is immediate sales, like measure sales, if this is awareness, then you can't optimize just on delivery metrics because they are easy to collect and to report and to measure. You have to measure awareness. Attention, it's the start of the story, because if nobody notices an ad, well, nothing else matters then. But attention doesn't build brand growth alone. It also needs an emotional connection. So what matters is how attention will be transformed in emotional connection and ultimately in lasting brand growth. And that's why we really need to get closer to that human response and to keep our signals grounded into real human outcomes rather than media outputs.
Yeah, no. I suppose there's that, you talk about metrics there. There's a growing gap, isn't there, between for performance metrics and genuine effectiveness. Nick, from where you sit, do you still see that gap like widening anymore?
In terms of the
performance like
so the funnel effectively, how we
basically
kind of see them come down. Yeah, I think we've still got a long way to go. Certainly in the business that we're in, we still have to spend a lot of time manually cleaning our data. I wish we had clean data, but we don't, unfortunately. So we have a lot of human effort that still has to go into that. We're automating parts of the process, but it really is still a big job for our teams to have to go through that. And once we get the data in the best place, then, okay, we can make much better decisions across the funnel, but we're having to go through a whole restructuring within the business actually to help us do that as well. So bringing new teams in to make sure that the data that we are generating actually is useful and is actually able to give us the insights that we need. And that's starting to pay off now, but it requires a lot more humans to keep doing that.
That's sort of another good sort of segue. I think there's been quite a few talks here at Cannes Lion around sort of AI and particularly around sort of the influences, so what influence people in this AI-driven world. Bit of a question here for the panel. So as targeting and optimization become increasingly automated, what still drives human decision making? This one I was going to direct at you, Virginie. Like, how important is like sort of context, creativity, sort of emotional connection?
Well, I think as AI makes media buying way more efficient, competitive advantage has to shift elsewhere, right? And I think it's precisely in creativity and emotional connection. We see that consumers are way more interested in authentic content, content that they can rely on, people that will make them like build something with the brand. So I think this is key. There is a session by Sir John Egarty, Stop Working in Advertising, very interesting, and he made his point about that, saying that advertisers should stop thinking and behaving like advertisers and more like a movement, an ID, a brand. So I think brands are asked, there is a growing expectation for them to show up in a more contextual and cultural way. And that's also very visible in our brand lift data. When consumers connect emotionally with a creative, we see much stronger lifts in either like consideration, brand image, intent, because efficiency creates reach, but creativity gives them something to care about. So that's something that we need to keep track of.
I suppose that consumer behavior sort of thing. I mean, what can consumer sort of behavior teach us that dashboards can't, Erika? I saw you. I was going.
Jump in there.
I think I'm going to ask, but yeah, actually, you know.
We love our dashboards, right?
Yeah.
We love our dashboards because they spit out the insights, right, that we need. And they're cool to have, but let's be honest, it's not really telling us the story. And to your point, like that creativity and really understanding the consumer sentiments behind it. So the dashboards, yes, they're telling us that ROAS, increased, right? People, bought stuff, so the sales went up. But it's really not telling us why. And the example that I always share as far as like consumer behavior, I mean, we're all consumers. I love my beauty products. I love skincare. I'm going to go in my neighborhood Target, for those who are from the U.S., and buy my skincare products. But at the end of the day, the next quarter, for that particular brand, they're going to see, okay, my sales went up. But what they don't understand is, well, why did Erika buy those skincare products, right? And I bought it not just because, okay, I'm out. I bought it because I saw an influencer on TikTok who was showcasing like, hey, look at my skin after 10 days and I want to look like her. And that is the information that the dashboards really can't provide, right? So that is that contextual information, like really having that consumer behavioral insights that you're really just not going to get, in a regular dashboard.
I think like efficiency has now become this like hot topic. I mean, it's starting off in like the Silicon Valley world with the tech bros. Everyone's trying to be super efficient. David Bartlett now can't drink wine anymore for efficiency. But do you think like brands are sort of at risk of thinking too much about being too efficient? I mean, that's maybe towards sort of Kieran. I don't know if that's something that you've sort of thought about from a platform perspective.
Yeah, I think we're very much just about working with people in the areas that they show up on. So just a kind of practical example for that is one of the areas we work with the most actually with advertisers is around sports, finance and Yahoo Mail. So we kind of make a thing that nobody's accidentally checking their inbox. They're choosing to log into their inbox to check their emails. So rather than everyone kind of looking around the internet to find where are these people, it's we're telling you they're here because they've got an email account, they're logging into it 6 times a day, so this is a good place for you to reach these people. So that's a really big kind of like driver for us. And I guess if you look at social's obviously been massive for a long time, and I think if you looked at email, it might seem quite old school to a certain extent, but it's actually an area that's kind of like has been growing hugely for us and really gives us a good way to target people. I think you also made a good point earlier about kind of what people are actually interested in. So we have like Yahoo Finance that people are coming to look for investments or find out about mortgages or actually look at things that they're affecting their kind of daily lives. And then Yahoo Sports, people are obviously really kind of passionate about sports and would come to that on a daily basis. So we're not really here to kind of ram it down people's throats to say you should advertise with us for all these amazing data signals, which we do have as well, but it's more targeting people that they're actually in the areas that they're showing up in anyway.
Nick, do you see a bit of that as well, dealing with the clients that you've got?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we used a lot of data sources across all of our different partners we're working with, and a lot of the partners do come to us and say we've got huge levels of API opportunity for you to kind of to pull into your systems, and we are starting to explore that and how we can actually start to use that in a meaningful way, because for planners it can become a little bit overwhelming a lot of the time because there's so many data sources now beyond the traditional sort of planning set. So yeah, we're definitely starting to use tools, use AI to be able to help us to kind of build those audiences.
Thanks. I mean, this panel is about sort of the future of sort of media investment. I mean, a sort of a blunt sort of question, like, what role should AI play in that? Kieran, from inside a major platform, do you see where we are now evolving much more?
Yeah, and I think it'll probably speed up faster than any of us really know or can handle to a certain extent. So I think if you were to sit here and predict the future, I don't think anyone can really do that, and I certainly won't claim to do that. I think a lot of it is around validation, and I think you guys also made a good point earlier. Maybe that decision paralysis. I think like whether that's your personal use of AI or doing it through work. If you're looking for who are the top, let's say influencers, who are the top influencers within whatever niche, you can plug that into your AI platform and it will tell you rather than you kind of panicking for a week of like, oh, how am I going to find these for my client? It's done for you. So I think that is a really big thing, and I think that can also help save time. You know, if you can go to your client and say, we found these people, this is the validation, this is what the data says, and if they say we don't like them, well, you can go and find some more on other validated data. So I think it's a big time save. Where it's going, I don't really know. Is the honest answer.
There's going to be more AI panels for Cannes 2027. I think that's where that's just going. Oh no, here we go again. Not so much what role does AI play, but what about from the human side of things? You know, what roles should humans play for this? Virginie, going to go to you, and then for Nick as well.
Yeah, I think AI. I think the role that humans play will be more important as AI becomes more capable, because AI should handle scale, it should handle speed, optimization, but every optimization starts with a choice of what matters, and that's ultimately a human decision. So I think the question within that question is, how do we keep humans in the loop? Because we know that media optimizes in seconds across all channels, multiple audiences, creatives, and so on. And having that human read on the growth that it can generate for brands is key, but it needs to operate at the same pace, and that's why I think that brands should be able to rely on real-time measurement to have that visibility into consumer response when it matters, to allocate budgets while it matters, to rotate creatives while it matters. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nick, similar sort of thoughts there?
Yeah, we're starting to get to hear a lot from our partners around sort of agent-to-agent buying and trading, and obviously is going to become more and more prevalent over the coming months. From our point of view, humans have still got to be involved with that, because with no one, we still can't trust the machines to do everything that we
what, really? Can't we? Oh,
not
Jesus.
yet. So we're
so
still way behind that.
Yeah, okay.
So obviously, we need to make sure that we are keeping context and accountability with the humans to make sure that we're kind of fully on top of it.
Erika, what advice would you give marketers who are navigating in this? This is probably near to the last questions now.
Yeah, one of the first things that I would say, marketers, you know your consumers better than anyone else. AI only knows as much as you're sharing with AI, right? Like as far as what you're feeding it, but you actually know your consumers. And that's one thing that I feel like marketers sometimes, they're kind of losing that essence of creativity in this space, because now they have AI to do everything for them. But most people were marketers long before AI, and you had to really be creative, and you had to really think, long and hard about the campaigns and, all the different pieces that go into it. So I would say, make sure you continue to keep that human element and judgment a part of AI. Use it to scale. Please do. Like, it's going to make your life a lot easier, but don't forget, just to use the human insight. Like, that's going to be important, because the creativity plus human insight is going to take you really far.
I definitely agree with that. We're going to wrap up now, unfortunately, but we do have drinks. But I've got one more question, actually, for the panel, but a quick one, promise you. Starting off with Kieran, if you give us one word to sort of sum up AI in the media and advertising sector, what would it be? The current state, in particular.
Could I give you two?
Go on then. Fine.
I think. Actually, I'm going to give you one. Education. I think it's just about breaking things down to make it easy to understand.
Brilliant. Same question directed to you, Virginie.
I think I will have to say gap.
Gap.
I think it will resonate pretty well with Marion, my head of brands, because we've been a bit obsessed with that topic lately. Because AI, it creates incredible opportunities, but it's also revealing the gaps that we still need to bridge. We have launched a series of content called The Gap, about the tensions that we navigate through the industry and so on. And what we realize is that the progress often happens within those gaps between exposure and intent, optimization and understanding, spend and return. So the challenge isn't about eliminating these gaps, but more to understand them, measure them, and to act on them quickly enough to just keep pace with how media works these days.
Fantastic. Nick?
Very good. Tentative excitement, I think. Two words.
Right, okay. Two words. It doesn't really count, but it's okay. You can
have
have
it.
it.
It's got a hyphen in it.
Yeah. No, guys. Erika, come on.
I will stick with the one word, and I will say transformative, coming from a positive lens, because it is transformative, right? And
Yeah,
so
makes sense. Got
there's
to be optimistic some way.
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say transformative.
Okay, fine. Guys, a round of applause to the crew. Thank you very much. I think it's happy hour. This happy hour. Thanks to
Yes,
Happy
please
Demics for
stay.
this one. Yes.
Happy hour time.